All right, everyone. We are now recording from Portugal, from the suburbs of Lisbon, from my hometown where I was born and I grew up. And I left to an adventure abroad about 20 years. Yeah, 20 years now. Yeah, it's even hard to count at this point. So here I am back, not in the same apartment where I lived when I was little, but in the same town. So it's always interesting to be back here because there's a lot for me to experience every time I return to this city. So thank you for joining this live stream. I will go through some of the feelings I encounter by spending time in the place that is very close to me. And there is a lot to be said between this confrontation between the person I'm now versus the person I was, and how the place is in the present time versus how it was back when I was around. So we'll go through some personal aspects, but also the social elements. I think the two are of interest. And if you want to be part of the conversation, make sure to add your comments, your input, and we can have this dialogue while I am here in the place that means a lot to me. So yeah, I've been traveling for quite some time. I was in Israel for 4 or 5 days. Then I flew to Portugal on. Let me just go back. I flew on Tuesday, so it's now Sunday. So it's nearly a week. I'll be here for another few days, and a lot have happened. I met family, friends. I was here with my girlfriend who just left today because she has things to do in Ireland that she cannot postpone. I'm staying here for another book launch, which will take place in Porto on Thursday. And I want to invite you, in case you are around in Portugal, specific on the north. My novel will be launched to the Porto public on Tuesday in UNICEF at 6 p.m. In the city center of this beautiful city called Porto. So it's a busy schedule, but I wanted to make the time to sit with you guys for 30 minutes or so, just to go to some of the stuff I went through and how I perceive the city and the country as I walk around. Right. So I'm just something to be aware of. I'm recording from a mobile phone. I think it works. It wasn't a big issue back then when I was in Israel. So I'm just going to use two devices. So in case there is any questions, I need to grab this phone to answer. Right. So one thing I always think of is how much of a return is that, and what I mean by that is I'm no longer the person who lived here. As I said, I left in 2006. The country also has changed radically. And if you want to talk of return, that means the two entities are back. And I'm not the same individual. A lot has changed on me when it comes to the way I perceive the world, how I interact with others. And the country itself, well, we all know that there is a huge transformation going on, especially in the West. But we'll get into it. I just want to say that every time I'm back, I feel that yes, this is a place that belongs to me and to which I also belong. But the encounter is not as effective because, as I said, a lot of different elements are on me and on the country itself, and that's inevitable. That's not a drama. That's not something to cry about it. We just need to accept that things change with time. It's just the way it is. Just the pace is huge. It's absolutely unstoppable, and we just need to be aware of it and don't freak out. So the return is real to some extent. There are a few misalignments between the pace I transform myself and the country, but that, as I said, that's just the way it is. I used to overthink about it, but in this period of my life, I just accept and live with it with peace. So that's something to share. That I'm no longer overwhelmed by coming back to this place. That used to be the case for quite some time. I think it's just a matter of being mature, accept reality and life as it is, and get on with with things as they are, because there's not much you can do about it. So you just need to accept, acknowledge, and move on. Right. Let's talk about changes. I can see, should I just see a comment here? So someone is watching us. Yeah, thanks very much. If you have any questions, make sure to put on the comment sections, and I will take it a bit later. So in terms of changes, I'd say I just start probably with myself. I believe I'm way more prepared to deal with things I was not that I'm not happy with. I think that's the main transformation. If I compare myself to the with the person I used to be, I'm just more. I have more acceptance of reality. Of course, I get upset. I still get upset, and I still don't. I'm still not happy with the few things I see. I just uh, acknowledge, and I think that's huge, because it's not just a matter of being okay with what you see. It's how your emotions are affected or not, and you can just carry on with your life. And if you manage to keep your chin up and you can walk straight, then even if the things around are dark or at times a nightmare, then you are able to find aspects that you'll be interested in, and you want to put your best self. And it's not a magic solution, but to some extent, it's very helpful. It's very helpful because it allows you to find situations within the darkness that are your type, and then you can find yourself of usage, and that as an end result, it helps you to have a good time. And that's all what we are here for. I think we need to remind ourselves that if even if things are not appealing, or they are not shaped in the way we wish or desire, uh, we can always find niches where we can navigate and thrive. And it sounds a bit like cheap psychology, but it's absolutely crucial to find that spot where you can provide your input and execute purpose. So that's what I do. Coming back here, I try to find people whom I can connect to, experiences that I can relate to, and that's absolutely crucial for me to enjoy the time every time I'm back. As I said, it wasn't always the case, so I'm happy with now being more of an adult and find what really suits the person I'm now. Well, the country absolutely is not the same. We all know how, especially in the West, things have changed when it comes to demographics. And this is not look. This is not for any means xenophobic comment, but Portugal, in some parts of the country, doesn't look that Portuguese anymore. Like with everything, there are benefits and there are downsides about it. We now are able to participate in the road in a way that brings us a lot of dignity and value. But on the other hand, we can see that our culture is not always respected. So I think it's all about making sure that the people we bring in, they are here to contribute. They are here to uh, develop the country. And if we are applying the right criteria, then there is nothing wrong with changing the Portuguese population. We always have been multicultural entity. Just I'm not sure if in the present moment we are doing the right thing with opening the door to certain individuals. Okay, that's not just Portugal. I mentioned that in the past. I can see that a few um, a few groups are coming in uh, just to take advantage, and they're not really interested in being part of the wider society. And I don't think that's fair. I think that's an actual threat, and we need to be very mindful of who are these um, people. So that's something I'm not very happy to see it. It's not really a huge concern for the country, but we all know that it starts very slow, and in a few years it can be too late. So I'm all for trying to keep the country protected, but at the same time be able to integrate individuals that, yes, they were not born here, but their presence is of value and mutual interest. So yeah, I also wonder like how people like say my parents, who are now in their 70s, how do they perceive the way the country is going? Because I was the other day I was at a barber shop here, and I could clearly see the disconnect between the shop owner, who was also looking after people's hair, actually mine, which was, I think, I think he did a great job, but he was not able to really have a conversation with another client who would be, let's say, in his 60s, if not 70s. I understand that he's learning the language, but was more than that. I think there is a gap that we should be mindful of, and it's not really making society compact. Okay. Um, no, I'm not talking about this individual in particular. I know there are a lot of cases in this manner, and we need to make sure that there is some common ground that people can coexist and live in the same space. This is not just thing that I observe in Portugal. It happens in many other parts of Europe, and including North America, even in the States, which are, as we know, huge country, but the effects of immigration are starting to be visible, right? I haven't spent a lot of time in Lisbon other than Friday. Yeah, I was there Friday for half a day, so I didn't see much of these demographic dangers, as someone calls it, or demographic disasters. Most of the reality I observed, it seemed to be decent, but this was just a fraction. So I'm not just going to say that what I see is representative, because there are lots of corners of Portugal that are now facing some threats, and we need to be very mindful of. I will just grab some water here. Right. Yeah, I think overall, Portugal is now in a situation that is very similar to most of the European countries. I think we are somehow stuck. We have been leading the civilization for quite some time, but that's not exactly the case. I think we need to reinvent ourselves. We were very good at it. Most of these nations were able to navigate in circumstances that weren't particularly easy. But it seems to be that there is a shortage of innovation in this day and age, or perhaps that mindset was outsourced to other parts of the planet. So I don't think we are going down. I just would say that countries like Portugal and the majority of Europe are just going nowhere. I had the impression that we don't know what is our next step, that we really don't understand what else can we do. And we have a lot of talent among ourselves, and maybe that's something to be proud of and keep and make sure that it can be applied in the right fashion. I got a comment here. Portugal is beautiful. I only know the Algarve from holidays. Always had a great time. Viva Moor was our favorite. Do not know what it's like today. That's a comment from Mary Rose. Thank you very much, Mary. It is indeed a beautiful country. one of the most beautiful countries, I would say, in Europe. I'm not that chauvinistic to say it's the most beautiful one, but it's somewhere there at the top. I want to say when it comes to beautiful countries that one of the most uh, fantastic aspects of traveling is that you get to see how the road is stunning. Okay, and there's so much to explore. There's loads of amazing landscapes and amazing individuals that you want to be in touch with, that you feel that your life is short because you won't be able to uh, experience each and every single of the opportunities. And every time I'm moving around, like the last week, I have the impression that not that I'm missing out, but that as much as I have this drive to visit different places, I will never be able to see it all. It's the same like books, no? There was a Portuguese writer who wrote about it that he goes to a library and he sees so many amazing books, but life is not enough to read them all. So I can say the same applies when it comes to the beauty of the road. But yeah, well, again, we need to accept human condition as is. You mentioned Algarve. I'm actually a funny Portuguese in that regard. I, I usually joke with Irish that I've been to the Algarve less than the majority of the Irish people. I've been down in the south. I think I can count with one hand the occasions I visit Algarve, and I know a lot of Irish who've been 10, 12, 15 times, and they are huge fans not only of the seaside but also golf. The golf opportunities, the restaurants, bars, and all that. Villamoura, yeah, it's a very popular spot among holidayers, and no wonder because it's a very much well maintained area of the country. I haven't been there myself. As a matter of fact, believe me or not, I haven't put my feet in the Algarve Sea because I was not much into beach when I was younger. But I have to do it. It's one of those places where I haven't really spent time because there are so much to see and experience in the wider road. But maybe I need to do something about. So thanks for the tip. Yeah, I'll keep it in mind. My girlfriend actually has been pushing me to visit Algarve. We couldn't do it this time because I've been pretty busy with book launches and all that. But perhaps if you come here with a less busy schedule, we will add it to the itinerary. Right. So we mentioned places, but I think traveling is also about people, especially when you go back to a place where you lived, um, or I think then in that case it's just unavoidable. You don't just come here to see sites or visit museums, although I spent some time on Friday in Carlos Gulbenkian Museum, which I would recommend to people interested in modern art, which is not exactly my type, although there are a few pieces that I was thrilled to see with my own pair of eyes. Unfortunately, at the moment, um, the main museum, what I call the main museum, where they have stuff from the past, even from the Egyptians, it's under renovation. So that's a motive for me to go back. So I was there on Friday, but it's mostly about when I'm here. It's mostly about spending time with people that I miss. Okay, of course, family. Um, that's number one. But there are people that are vital. They are crucial to the person I'm now, and I owe them a lot. So every time I'm here, I make the time to sit at a coffee shop table or set some time to go for a drink, and it always feels great. I think it's not really a holiday in the sense that you are just enjoying yourself. It's more about uh, intellectual intellectual feeding, I would say. Yeah, intellectual emotional feeding. It's about filling some gaps that uh, you cannot really fill unless you spend time with people uh, that means so much. That's exactly how I feel. So it's very exhausting, but at the same time is rewarding. So since I'm away, which is now what 10 days, I have the impression that I've been running around. I didn't have much time to switch off, which is absolutely necessary, because if you are just going around, at some point you are just ticking boxes. So I'm trying to get that break. I don't know, 5, 10, 20 minutes each day, just to reconnect to myself and understand what I'm doing. That's something I just did actually before getting into this session. But I know it helps me to come back and communicate properly and be able to be present. Because otherwise, I could be here. I could be here forever, just uh, going from one person to another. Right. Yeah, very much enjoyable to spend people that are of very much importance for me. But at the same time, because I lived here, there are some what I call some ghosts or some phantoms that will haunt me from time to time. It's something that I cannot do much about it, because if I spend time here in the past, and I left, they live here, so they are rooted in these streets, in this area. So I cannot just tell them to go away. They are part of the furniture, and I never know what kind of message I'm going to receive from these creatures. I enjoy it. It's always very much tiring, sometimes exhausting. But I don't come here to recharge. I come here to encounter some realities that I like to be in touch with. Although I wouldn't see myself returning for good. I'm not as distant as I was. There was a time that I would be, say, what they call it, Portuguese in denial, but that's no longer the case. I recognize that, yeah, I'm from here. I can revisit this place, have a good time, and then go. It's that simple, or as simple as it can be. Guys, if you have more questions, comments, I'm happy to pick. I will use it for the upcoming conversation. The other thing I want to say is, since my parents moved to another apartment, I don't feel like I'm completely back. I'm sitting now in a room that, as a room, it doesn't say a lot to me. It was always completely different when I was back in the place where I grew up. In the first 2 times I was here, I felt I was almost in a, in a guest house, or some sort of touristic premises. Now I feel that, okay, my parents are already here. That's the place where I stay when I visit them, and even when I look at the window, because I have a thing for windows. Like I don't, I don't feel the same way. I'm seated in one of the biggest avenues in my hometown. By the way, my hometown is not far from Lisbon. It's what they call a suburb of the capital, where people live and they settle for economic reasons. And it's very different. As a matter of fact, now I can see, if I look through the window, a bus stop that never exists, and there are people there from different parts of the road. uh, it's the new Portugal, as they call it, and not only because we had foreigners when I live here, not only from our former colonies, but also from many parts of Europe, even from Southeast Asia. It feels very different. I cannot get used to, but perhaps that's the way it should be. I'm not here to revisit the country as it was, because the country has changed, and so did I. So I need to accept that that whole experience of return is just unattainable, and that's okay. No, that's okay. There is a grief with that, but as with all griefs, one needs to find a way not to collapse. Right. Yes. So I have a few things still to do here in Portugal, meeting a couple of friends. Some have been my close friends for quite some time. Some are what I call new friends, because I think due to my um, lifestyle, there's always new people coming in through my scope of interactions. So yeah, I like the idea that I recycle my my circle. It has been the case for quite some time. I think it's very helpful for growth, for personal growth, but one shouldn't neglect long-term friends because uh, they have been beside for so long, and that has a reason. So uh, I will never disregard those individuals, despite sometimes we take different paths or we don't get along as we did. I think there is a bond that it's something to maintain, and I'll be always willing to do everything I can to make it intact or renovated. So it feels different. That's why I call Portugal feels different. Feels different because I'm not the same. The country, for sure, uh, uh, communicates and approaches me and everyone that comes here in a way that is totally different from, say, I don't know, the 2010 or even at the beginning of the century. And yeah, it feels good. It feels good. I have a few days more here. I'll be traveling back on Thursday. I'm already missing Ireland as a country, no, and also the friends I have there, and of course my my cute cat that is a huge part of my life, and sometimes he's jumping around during these live streams. And yeah, I think I'll make the most of my remaining days here. I won't be recording more in Portugal. I might have a couple of insights to share next time I go live. And in that regard, I want to announce what is on the pipeline, guys. So we will be live again on tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I know I um, skipped last League of Ireland podcast because I was in Israel and I was quite busy. I couldn't really find not even an hour, which is very telling. So we'll be back tomorrow discussing the League of Ireland games that just took place on the weekend and what is ahead for for Friday. So myself and Cornell we go through the games. I don't have a lot to say, but we mostly Cornell running the show. So if you are into it, make sure to join us tomorrow 1 p.m. and Wednesday. I'll be sharing my insights from the Israeli trip, which I know I did already in English, but I have this version in Portuguese that I ran with Carlos Romeira and Sofia Afonso Ferreira, typically every 2 weeks. So we go live on Wednesday, 6 p.m. will be only an hour, and the reason is I'm having my book launch in Porto on Tuesday. I'll probably be mostly dead on Wednesday, but I want to make sure I can share what I perceived in Israel to the Portuguese public. So if you guys speak Portuguese, that's something to be aware of on Wednesday. Back in Ireland, thanks to Maria Stravopovo, we'll be doing we're doing a special Witty Week or Writers Workshop for the Ireland Reads Day, which is Saturday. So Saturday night, if you don't have any party, any wild evening in the horizon, I'd rather be at home, especially given the weather. That I know that the weather didn't get much better in the Emerald Island. If you want to connect with us, we'll be live around 9 p.m. We'll be discussing reading. So if you are into books and writing and that sort of topic, that's something to watch. So that's what we have for the next few days. I'll keep myself very busy here. I'm happy that we managed to connect for 30 minutes, but I think it was uh, important for me to share this update. And by the way, I almost forgot that. By the way, yeah, we hit the full monetization. So thank you very much. I'm really grateful for everyone that contributed. I'm now able to use YouTube, as a source of income, which is crucial given that I'm now um, I'm now running on my own devices. So yeah, so for now there'll be ads. I'm now one of those who are adding these elements at the start of the video. I know sometimes it can be a bit of a pain in the back, but we creators we need YouTube to help us, as much as we can. Even though I'm a small creator, these things matter a lot. If you want to be part of the community and you want to help this independent project I'm running here on YouTube, you can join as a member. I haven't really shared a lot of special content, but I promise I will. Now that YouTube is fully monetized, I want to come up with a schedule that will suit what I'm doing here. Probably go through some reflection periods. So if you have some ideas, actually some suggestions on how can I carry on this activity, I'm more than happy to take them on board. Yeah, so thanks very much for connecting on this Sunday afternoon. Hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'll be out now, heading to Lisbon to meet my Polish translator, and more to come tomorrow at 1 p.m. Have a good rest of the weekend. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye.
Thanks so much for watching. Click here for more episodes, subscribe here to catch the next ones, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section.